This is the 22nd season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We are going to talk about bass fishing, and I would venture to say that outside of there's a lot of stuff going on in the Sunshine State and the West Coast, there's not a lot of bass fishing going on this morning. That storm was wild. I realized that I did not have an actual snow shovel, which by the way, like a digging shovel does not work very well on 8 to 10 inches of snow. But I'm working on potentially another show. So there's a couple of absolute nut jobs who, particularly over the last like 5-6 years since Scope has come out, we've kind of figured out that sometimes OH Ivy kind of kicked this off 3-4 years ago. And then we've kind of figured out around here that this is like one of the times of the year where you get this polar plunge cold where the lakes aren't frozen, but they have been warm, and then they stabilize afterwards. And if you can get your boat in the lake safely without it freezing to the trailer or sliding off of the trailer or having to break ice, you can catch some pretty big fish. So I'm working on maybe trying to get a couple of those guys on. Also, the end of the show, a couple big things. The Spro Elite MG bait casting reel giveaway. If you listened to last week's show with Spro, we had Kevin from KGB, Dean Rojas from Spro on. They've got the 200 and the 300 reel. I have the winners for the Dean Rojas reel and for the KGB reel. We'll do that at the end of the show. We will also dive into the DTF, the dual threat fishing. This thing is absolutely nuts, guys. Like, if you actually dive into the numbers behind this gigantic team tournament that trail that was announced last year, there were some major last-minute changes that just took place. 62 boats down on Lake Okeechobee, $100,000 for the winner. This should be the biggest story in tournament fishing that has come down the pipeline in the last ever. No entry fee, millions of dollars in payouts, $250,000 championship plus a Bitcoin, no entry fee involved. They literally scrapped $1.8 million in entry fees for those teams for the 2025 season. And nobody's talking about it. They're going back to back. Well, there's a couple guys talking about it, but this should be imploding the industry because it is a no entry fee event. So we'll get into that. While a lot of us were talking about this new event, there was a really cool announcement that came down the pipeline last week from Pro Guide Batteries. And if you guys know, I love to get the sponsors of BTL on to talk about it. We had Matt Looney, used to be with Pro Guide. Now he's with Bass Cat. And we've had some other guys, but sometimes we just go, I think the phrase is straight to the horse's mouth, which would be Pate Shumaker, since he owns Pro Guide Batteries. And he announced, what did I call it? I'm calling it the biggest team tournament of the year in the Ozarks. Pate, thanks for jumping on BTL.
Hey, what's going on, man? How are we this morning?
I'm good. Are you comfortable calling it the biggest team tournament of the year in the Ozarks?
I saw that title at the top of the screen. I was like, oh gosh, like that's
me saying it right there. We're putting that moniker on it. And here's the thing. I know there are a bunch of gigantic team tournaments in the Ozarks, but biggest can be defined a number of different ways. It could be, as far as raising money for charities, it could be for raising awareness. It could be for community involvement, camaraderie. It doesn't just have to be monetarily like the biggest payout or the most boats. Yeah. So that's why I was comfortable going biggest team tournament of the year in the Ozarks.
Man, we are super excited. We are super excited about it. And I'll tell you, the feedback we've gotten so far has just really kind of blown us away. Just the people, like a lot of guys are, saying, hey, can't wait to fish it, wanting to participate. How's this going to work? But there's just been a mountain of people just friends from the industry, personal friends, just be like, what do I got it? How do I help? What are we going to do? Brands and companies from the industry stepping up and just, I've not asked for anything, and just showing up and just saying, hey, okay, here's what we want to do. So we are super psyched, and couldn't be more pumped for our first year. So we've had some people in the space, specifically in the St. Jude world, the Dick Hiley kind of paved a path, and ProGuide's been a part of that the last couple of years. And I was like, you know what, this is something we can and should do. So we're looking forward to it. And yeah, we released that video last week, and we're, couple 40,000 views on Instagram and another 30,000 on Facebook. So it's going off. So we're excited about it.
All right. Let's just catch everybody up to speed on exactly what it is, a little bit about how we got there. And then I think you have some announcement on some of the details for that tournament. Yep. It says in the press release here, more details on February 2nd. Maybe we can get a couple exclusives here on BTL, but this is what I hope is becoming a trend in the industry, which is premier industry-backed charity team tournaments. Obviously, the Dick Hiley St. Jude Classic just celebrated their 25th year, over $8 million raised from that small group that started it. Your family were able to, you actually spoke at the Dick Hiley last year. We were like, man, it should fill up this year. And like a month into registration, that 100-boat tournament that's in Wabasha, Minnesota, filled up. And I could kind of tell you'd kind of ask some questions. You saw your wheels turning. You saw what it had done, especially with your family background. Then you said, man, we're thinking of working on some stuff. And then you came out with the Pro Guide Hope Classic. Now, this tournament is on Table Rock Lake, May 9th, 2026, out of Indian Point. Run through kind of the details, what's behind it, who kind of the Hope Classic. Is this a St. Jude kind of a I don't want to say piggyback, but a sister event to the Dick Hiley is what your goal is here? Just walk us through the whole event.
Yeah. And I'll back up just a touch too. So for those that don't know, my son Truman was diagnosed with leukemia in March of 22. This week, last year. So we're coming up on the 1 year mark of him ringing the bell. So we're this coming March will be 4 years in, and then at the 5th year mark, he is officially cured. And so St. Jude obviously is something that's incredibly important to our family and to our company. So after we kind of got started in the treatment process, like I knew we were going to do something, but we wanted to get all the way through, and got connected through you, Matt, to the team up at the Dick Hiley Classic, and went up there last year and took part. And I was able to speak at the dinner and just see the way it all flowed and worked, and was just super inspiring. And was just something that was like, okay, we knew we wanted to do this, but now we kind of see a path. And so we're not officially connected to the Dick Hiley Classic. That is actually because of its tenure and its success. It's actually a St. Jude ran event at this point. And we, there's a couple different paths you can do. So at first, whenever you are looking to do something like this, usually you just kind of put something yourself on, and then it is a benefiting tournament. It is a benefiting event. So we are an independent event that purely benefits St. Jude. So we have the direct affiliation, but it is not ran by St. Jude. So May 9th at Indian Point, we're going to be running out of the Table Rock Lake Resorts / Rock Lane Resorts. Those guys were generous enough to let us host there. For those here in Southwest Missouri, you might know JP Sell. He does a ton of charity events and then runs National Youth Fishing Association. So JP is actually going to be the tournament director. And so he obviously has a ton of success with charity events here in Southwest Missouri. We got a lot of friends that Ozark Mountain Team Trail and Anglers in Action in the Big Bass Bash. So talking with the Berries and Charlie, it was just like, okay, guys, like we don't want to step on any toes. We want to bring this in and find a day. So May 9th is the only Saturday in all of spring that we can make this happen.
It's a great time to be on Table Rock. Like, I mean, a trait, you could duct tape a fishing rod and reel in a trained monkey's hand, set them out on Table Rock there. They could catch a 5 bass limit that time of the year. Pate, great time to be on Table Rock.
Yeah. So I felt like we were just super blessed to find that one Saturday and kind of, we didn't want to compete. We wanted to be able to, you know, leverage all of these guys that we've worked with for a long time and say, okay, help us do this right the first year and really get this thing rolling. So we're super appreciative of their willingness to help us and get this thing kicked off. So
it's a 1-day team tournament
event.
Day.
Yep. One day team event. And kind of for those that aren't familiar with the format that the Dick Hiley guys put together all those years ago, essentially it is it's a $250 entry fee, and it is a full payout tournament. So like it's not like your $250 goes to fundraising, and that's how we raise money. That's a question that we get asked a lot, or have gotten asked, especially in the last week. With that entry fee, the team has to raise $500. And that, whenever I first heard that, on that format up north, it was like, ooh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know how this works. How do you A, you know, convince people that that's a good idea, B, teach them how to raise money. Mm-hmm. But after 25 years, and they raised over $1 million last year, it's like the format is 100% valid. Their entry fee is actually more, and the fundraising goal is more. It's actually double on both sides. So we wanted to dip our toes in the water here, and our thought is if we can get 100 teams and we can raise $500, that'd be $50,000, and that's our first year goal. I am being told that we will hit that pretty easily, but you know, I want to be conservative and hopefully you know,
you've been in the industry long enough. Always be conservative.
Always be conservative. So
are you doing the same thing where based on how much money you raise is your takeoff number? Because I think that is the thing that the Dick Hiley St. Jude and the folks at the St. Jude have figured out is to combine the competitiveness with the fundraising for St. Jude to where you're explain that, because that is like one of the things that took me a while to understand. But then I was like, oh, we're in on it starting the day after the St. Jude ends till the next year.
Yeah. So that's obviously some secret sauce that they wanted to share with us. So essentially the boat order is driven by how many dollars you raise. So whoever raised the most money goes out first. And just a way to tap into other people's competitive spirits is a lot of fun. And so we've seen and heard these stories of these teams up north, and they are like, they own a business, and they're one was a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking I thought about Glenn Walker.
Yeah, this is currently for what's coming up in May. This is the leaderboard for the Dick Hiley St. Jude, because
it's insane.
Glenn's got a spawning hole that he wants to get to, and same with Corey right there. Corey's got he's already got 4-pounders on a bed that he wants to make sure he's first to.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Glenn goes and has created his own little niche of what he does. So he goes around to BPT, elite guys, everybody, and gets a signed jersey and then auctions it on eBay and donates all the money to his team. I heard about a guy with a restaurant, and every Friday between a certain time period, like a happy hour, like all the profit goes to his team. There was a real estate agent, and at every closing, he gives $500 to his own team.
Oh, wow. I know Hellabass was selling crazy amounts of tackle last year. Rich Lindgren, to raise money through St. Jude, had all sorts of stuff on eBay to auction off.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's just so many neat ideas. And that's one of the things that we're going to be trying to, figure out, it's like, what are these stories, and then produce them out, talk about it, tell these other people how we can do this, and simply, I was talking to Gretchen and Katie last year, and they were like, if you just want to write a check from St. Jude, yeah, if you just want to write a check, you can do that too, and you know where it's going, and there's a write off and all that, so there's just a lot of neat ways to do it, and we're just super excited. And I think the most powerful thing for us that we witnessed last year at the Dick Hiley Classic was just being able to, we got up there to tell our story, and then to see a room full of bass fishermen and anglers just like melt, and they were just like, I had no idea, and it's just it was just special. And I think that there's so many stories that can come out of this locally. And, Southwest Missouri is super lucky because we have a St. Jude affiliate clinic in Springfield. And that's not a lot of people know that. Like that was the reason we were in St. Louis and we transferred to St. Jude, because of the logistics. The logistics of cancer are insane. So, we were going to have to drive 5 hours to St. Louis once a week for 3 years. It was like, that's terrible. I mean, we'd do it in a heartbeat, or we'd move to St. Louis. And then I get a phone call. And they're like, hey, man, I don't know if you know this, but there's a clinic in Springfield, and you're going to have to go there every week. And you need to know about this. And that's literally the reason why we did it. And there were so many other stories that came through. So, for me, I think about rural families because I live in Golden, Missouri, and you're going to have to Google that because, nobody knows what Golden, Missouri is. And it's like, that's a life-changing, thing. So that's what our goal and benefit of this is. And so we're just super psyched about it.
The Dick Hiley is capped at 100 boats. Do we have a field size for Table Rock?
Nope. Let her rip.
All right. And then where can people find out more information? It said in the press release then February 2nd. I have linked the current press release that is on the Pro Guide Batteries website with all that current information. I linked that in the YouTube description of the show. But as far as all of those other details and stuff, will that kind of live on Pro Guide's website as well?
So all of our registration is actually going to be through Fishing Chaos. And that's going to, we're going to push that live on Friday. So we'll have another post that goes live from Pro Guide, from the Pro Guide Hope Classic Instagram page. And then we will be collabing with the St. Jude local affiliate. So we'll just push it out the same way that we push the video out. And so there'll be a landing page through Fishing Chaos. And all the registration will be done there. And then the other thing that's, I think, just kind of like nuts and bolts housekeeping, once we get registration through Fishing Chaos, then there will be a registration page built so that you can raise money. And you will have your own team's page through St. Jude that you can go and you can just, say you're going out and you're talking to somebody and you're the waitress at the diner that I always go to on Friday was like, what do I give? And hopefully we see a lot of opportunities like that, and you can just share your link and she goes to the page and it's directly to St. Jude.
So this is our page for the Dick Hiley St. Jude right now. It's Adam Bartuzek because he's the one who got me into this 3-4 years ago, but this is our team. There's a picture of us. My fish is clearly bigger than anything that he's holding in that picture. So there's how much we've raised for this year. This is the page you could do. You could just do the direct donation. It talks about what it is for the St. Jude, and then down. Oh, Jay Siemens donated. You don't know if you know who Jay Siemens is. He's like the goat of like northern filming. He does like just amazing cinematic stuff. He'll be like a dude who will be like out in -20 with like 19 cameras and 3 drones. It's unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
So then Bart did a bunch of fundraising at the Minnesota Ice Show. So that's where he put in there. They had an event there where there was $100 entry fee to get in, and they had a band and they had some venue and stuff. So that's where we had it. And then we've done T-shirts every single year and things like that. So there'll be a bunch more included on that. But if you plan on doing this, it's not like you have to start from nothing and try to figure out how to explain it. One of the cool things that I'm glad you're taking. And I think this event 25 years ago raised $11,000 in the first year that they did the Dick Hiley St. Jude. What's really exciting is to have someone and a company like Pro Guide behind it, and someone like you, and then so many connections in that Ozark area. There's just a lot of good people in that part of the country too. Like I grew up in Illinois, I live in Oklahoma, spent a lot of time in the Ozarks, kind of between, that Table Rock, I'm sure, like all of those areas. There's just a bunch of good people that love to deer hunt and catch fish. And they seem like they're behind it. So I think the sky's the limit for you. And it is, I've talked to so many people that have, there's people from Kansas, there's people from Oklahoma, there's people from all over who have gotten in on and fished that Dick Hiley by hearing about it through the support of companies like Pro Guide and BTL and things like that. But this is such an awesome opportunity to participate in something that at the ground level on the first year to get in. It's cool to go to that Dick Hiley and see guys who have been there for all 25 years. And there's guys that get up and they get like a plaque. They've raised $250,000. They've raised $500,000. And you're like, holy cow, like this is just a dude who's back there just crushing Coors Lights 5 minutes ago. And now he's up on stage and he's raised $500,000.
That's exactly right.
For childhood cancer research. And you can track and know exactly where it goes. And then a family such as yours, which you wish that this event didn't exist, but gets up on stage and says, you could say, this is what you've raised. This is what it cost. This is what it did. Like, it all makes sense. And I have encouraged everybody to get involved with it. If you're looking to fish a team tournament, if you don't fish anything, if you're looking to get back in, or if you fish every single weekend and you're looking to take people's money, this hits all four of those.
Yeah. One of the, I can't echo it enough. So I'm just really excited for an opportunity to bring it to more localized so that people can, see that opportunity to see how it does change people's lives. So, man, it's a special thing. One of the things you just mentioned, we had a lot of people that another St. Jude family friend was saying like, hey, like I got two buddies that fish and I just want to be in the boat. So it actually it's a team, but there can be a third person, or if you want to, you take your child with you. So, we're super excited about it, and we're looking forward to putting on, this is our first kind of put together event. JP's an expert. And I've got a lot of big ideas, and so we're going to try to blow this thing out of the water in the first year, but I know it's only just going to get better and better. So we got another announcement here, probably 3 weeks, that'll really help spur some stuff on.
Yeah. I have a feeling that just, Pro Guide's been around for 48 years now.
40. This is 46. You're 46.
Okay. 46 years. Well known, I would imagine. Just a little bit that I know you, you maybe have some favors saved up to where you could call and say, hey, we're doing this. It's time for you to step up. And you may or may not have some of those people go, hey, what do you need?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Am I barking up the right tree there, Pate?
Maybe something like that.
Awesome. And then that'll be out on all of Pro Guide's battery social medias as far as what that is.
Yep, absolutely. So no, we're just I can't thank you enough for having me on, Matt. And
no, I enjoy the heck out of it. I know you had a meeting that you're able to push back, and I wanted to get you on and talk about it for about 25 minutes. Can I ask you one battery question before I let you go?
Yes. No, I'm good on time.
Okay. I have my lithiums that are out in the Bass Cat in my garage. My garage is not heated. I have a thermometer out there. It is 31 degrees in my garage currently, and probably got a lot colder last night. Do I need to have those lithiums plugged in? They're fully charged. What do I need to do to make sure that cold weather doesn't impact them? And then likewise, let's say you have AGMs. How are you making sure that when that cold kind of releases that you're not dealing with some zapped batteries? Yeah.
So the AGM, we'll jump on that one first because it's the easiest. So, because of the internal resistance that AGM, if you plug it in, it's gonna accept the charge. It's just gonna take a long time. It's gonna be slower. It's gonna activate, and it's gonna just be a slower process. So totally fine. We get that question a lot. Do I just leave it plugged in? yeah, you can leave your charger plugged in. If you want to be super, sorry about that.
There's the meeting call.
No, that's fine. If you want to be like super diligent, you could fully charge them and then let them sit for a couple months. As long as you're disconnecting any kind of parasitic load. A lot of boats, even a really well built first year boat, could have some draws. So on the lithium side, it's interesting you say 31 degrees. At below 32 degrees, we want to limit the charge amperage to less than 10 amps for sure. If it gets below 14 degrees, we don't want to be charging that battery.
Okay.
Until it warms up.
Okay.
But if you park the boat fully charged, like it sounds like you did.
Yep.
And you take out to go fishing, you're totally fine to use the product. And as that battery is used, it will internally warm up, and you'll see your performance increase. So
I did it right then. So I unplugged the boat to plug in my heat lamp. I don't know. I've got something when I moved into this 4 years ago where they were like, hey, like, don't let that freeze or else the whole house is screwed. So I've got this like heat lamp that I put on it when it gets. So I unplugged the batteries, plugged it into the heat lamp. So the batteries are fully charged. I got the Pro Guide charger, the green icons on it or whatever. But I also, when this thaws, like I said before I brought you in, I want to get out on the water. So I should be good to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Pro Guide batteries, social media, on the website. Stay tuned for announcements. I'm sure I'll talk about it here on BTL as well when that is announced. I would encourage people, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to shoot me a message, matt@basszone.com. I mean, I'm not involved with this, don't have anything, but I mean, I understand like how the program works and can get the right questions. Matt@basszone.com, at Matt Pagrack on Instagram. If you have any questions or desire, I would say this is a cool opportunity. I look at those guys who have been around that Dick Hiley for 20, 25 years. And I'm like, man, it must feel so gratifying that regardless of what you do in your life, regardless of what happens personally or whatever, you have this main constant where you know that you are doing good for other people in the community and you can see those tangible results. I feel like this is a great opportunity to get in on the ground floor of something that I expect the Pro Guide Hope Classic to be around for the next 25 years. And we're celebrating the 25th year of this tournament. Well, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Dick Hiley St. Jude. So
it's super exciting. Well, we just thank you, man, for having me on, and we're looking forward to having an awesome event.
All right, thanks, Pate. I appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll see you.
All right, there you go. Pate Shumaker, owner of Pro Guide Batteries. Once again, that is the Pro Guide. I'll pull this up. I like that logo. The Pro Guide Hope Classic. Link to this is in the description. Talks a little bit about the story, everything that you've got there. So, all right, we're going to take a break. A little bit shorter show today. I'm maybe working on trying to get some other live stuff dialed in for the rest of the week. I know I saw some questions about Drew Gill. There's no way Drew Gill can like make it to the house. Like I said, he had some something came up last week to where he wasn't able to make it, and then snowpocalypse happened. So he still wants to get it and get on for CTL Crappie Talk Live. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to touch on dual threat fishing, and we are going to give away the Dean Rojas and the KGB reel from Spro from last week's show. It's BTL on a Monday. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast, to chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
As a professional angler, there's only one thing that connects you to your paycheck. Probably the most crucial part to tournament bass fishing. I use Sunline because they have a line for every application. Shooter, FX2, All Might, super light line, big stuff, big sticks. Sunline has you covered.
Sharp as can be. Super strong, super durable.
Really good penetration.
Thinner and stronger.
Catch fish after fish.
I want to make sure that I'm using the best stuff possible.
World's finest hook.
World's finest hook.
Gamakatsu, world's finest hook.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring.
That's a giant, dude.
Summer.
Oh my gosh. Hi. Look at that thing.
Winter.
It's so cold.
And fall.
Got a big one. That's awesome. Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option.
AFCO. Any fish, any water.
All right, welcome back. BTL on a Monday. Thanks to Pate Shumaker. We're gonna fish a team tournament. This is just a. They're going to do it right, from what I've heard. Like, this is not something that he was just like, oh yeah, let's do it and see if we raise money. Like I saw, like I have no doubt this tournament will be ran the same way the Pate runs Pro Guide. Very thought out, high quality, calculated, with results driven. Like, it's going to be done right, especially with the guys that he mentioned, the people that he talked about. So if you are putting your schedule together, team tournament wise, and I don't from what he said, and like I said, I don't know. It sounds like there may be some. I'm assuming that is going to be like a payout or something crazy as far as what the first place and what this thing is going to pay for that. Okay, let's go on to something else. I'm going to touch on it briefly because I'm putting together a show about this. There is some industry side to this. There is some human nature side to this. There's some mystery and intrigue to this. There are a lot of angles to this story, and I don't have all of those angles yet to be comfortable to do a show about it. I want it to include staff. I want it to include anglers. I want it to include sponsors. I want it, the whole 9 yards. And right now they're kind of in the middle of trying to figure it out. That is the DTF, the Dual Threat Fishing Team Tournament that went down on Lake Okeechobee. Messer and Messer, there they are holding $100,000 checks right there. Martin Villa, Rod Nelson, my buddy James Biggs. So I've got a little bit of inside scoop here because like Biggs is fishing it, Stefan's fishing. There's a bunch of guys that I know that are fishing. There's the Lanes, the Scope Goat, the Nut Brothers, Andrew Lober. Like this is a very interesting field. No entry fee, like guarantee, all sorts of crazy stuff here. In theory, this should be dominating every single headline in professional bass fishing, but there are a lot of questions around it. Now, I just had a chat with another angler who was in this field. He said, isn't it funny? And I said, yeah, I totally agreed with this statement. He basically said, like, hey, if you're outside of this and you see it, it's weird how in this industry, the initial thing to do is to tear something down, to poke holes in it, and to say, this isn't going to work. And I mean, I was one of those guys that was calling, that was going, okay, what's it like? How's it going? Was there a meeting? How organized is it? The whole 9 yards. But as someone in the industry, if you can make this work, this is a game changer. Like, I hate that word. I just said it. This is literally a game changer, though. You're talking about millions of dollars of payouts and no entry fees in a 6 tournament team series with a $250,000 championship and a Bitcoin and all of that stuff. Great questions. Where's the cash coming from? Nobody knows. How did this come about? Who's running it? Nobody really knows. How long is it going to last? What is it? Nobody really, like, this is the greatest mystery in tournament fishing since I've been in this industry in 2008. Like, there's been a lot of stuff that's come and gone, but there's always been like an angle, right? So there's always been like, oh, this guy is like trying to get everyone's entry fees and it's clearly a money-making deal, or this guy owns this business and this is how it's like, there's always like okay, this is how the organization, the owners are going to, or try to attempt to make money off of this. Like, I don't see sponsors on here, like the league info. Like, this is the league info. This is a mystery. I'm intrigued with it. Like, I'm not talking crap about this. Like, I'm very intrigued with it. I know guys who fished it. I know there were questions about checks in the first event. Don't let the narrative of social media now skew you in that. There's always more to the story than it seems. I believe, from what I've understood, there's more to this story than appears at the beginning. They're competing on the St. Johns River this week. And as that goes, I'm working on putting together a comprehensive show that dives into this as much as it can dives into this. I have no idea what I'm going to find, what I'm going to get into, what I will be able to achieve in it. But I'm very interested in the DTF, the dual threat fishing. All right. We have a giveaway. And this was from last week's show with the KGB and the Dean Rojas reel. We had over 90 comments on that. So basically you have like a 1 in 45 chance if you commented in the YouTube description on that show from the last time when we had Dean on until today's show. I have randomly taken all of those comments where you had to guess your favorite, or not guess, you had to just comment your favorite Spro Bronzeye color and your favorite KGB Spro Chad color. I have got the winner for I've got him right here, the DR Elite MG200 bait casting reel that Dean came on and talked about. That winner, if this is you, send just a screenshot of your Google account or YouTube page that shows that it's you, whatever. Email matt@basszone.com. We'll get this in the mail within the week. My wife, Courtney, is now mailing things. She's actually in charge of it. The winner of that is Maine Y Yak. Maine Y Yak. Big fan of the Killer Gill color and the bone color in the KGB, but he gets the 200, the Dean Rojas reel, or she. Maine Y Yak. All one word. MAINE, capital Y, YAK. That's your reel. All right, now for the KGB Elite MG300 bait casting reel, Mr. Wooly Fishing, MRWOOLY Fishing. Big fan of the bone, KGB Chad. There you go. Email matt@basszone.com. Just take a picture, show that that's your account. I will I'll get these shipped out. All right, like I said, I'm working on like 2 or 3 different shows for the rest of the week. Some interesting stuff happening in the industry. All good stuff. Potentially good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. Once again, the Pro Guide Hope Classic, big announcement. I'm calling it the biggest team tournament in the Ozarks. I think it has big potential. May 9th, 2026. If you are within 5 hours of this, or if you tried to get into the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic up in Wabasha, Minnesota, and were unable to, this is the one for you. I know there are a lot of, I've had a lot of questions over the past 3 years of guys who wanted to get into the Dick Hiley, and they're like, man, like the river and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like you can go drive into Lake Pepin and not like have any issues, but the river can be kind of intimidating. It's intimidating to me. Table Rock Lake, you can go out and catch some bass on Table Rock Lake regardless of what you're in. So stay tuned to that for more information. All right, this has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. Same time, same place tomorrow. We'll talk to everyone then. See ya.